A warm welcome to everyone, greeting of the day, and happy learning. In this video, we are going to see about Digital Electronics Unit 5, Memory Devices and Digital Integrated Circuits. The topic we are going to cover is Basic Memory Structure and Random Access Memory. And this is Sashireka. So the course outcome of this particular subject is regarding the digital electronics, how we are going to deal with the semiconductor memories. The main objective of this video is you should define what is basic memory characteristics and explain what a RAM is and how it works. Explain the difference between static RAMs and dynamic RAMs. So we are going to deal with RAMs and ROMs. Two major categories of semiconductor memory is there. One is random access memory and one other one is read-only memory. Random access memory. In this video, we are going to deal with random access memory. So, it is a type of memory in which all address are accessible in an equal amount of time and can be selected in any order for a read or a write operation. So, you can able to do read operation also. You can able to do write operation also. That is nothing but your random access memory. All RAMs have both read and write capability because RAMs lost stored data when the power is turned off. They are called volatile memory. So once your the power is going to off, all the memories present, all the data present in memory will be lost in a RAM. That is nothing but your volatile memory. So read-only memory, it is a type of memory in which data are stored permanently or semi-permanently. Data can be read from ROM, but there is no write operation as in the RAM. See, ROM is very important memory. In this one's data is stored permanently or semi-permanently, and you can only read. No write operation will be allowed in your ROM. You can only read from read only memory. That is what the name implies. Read only memory. Right? So ROM retains stored data even if power is turned off. They are non-volatile memories. Once you're going to switch off the power also, again if you're going to switch on, again your data will not be lost. So that is known as your non-volatile memories. So static RAM, broadly RAM is classified into static RAM and your dynamic RAM. Two major categories. They are static RAM and the next one is your dynamic RAM. Static RAM generally uses latches as storage element and can therefore store data indefinitely as long as DC power is supplied. Whenever my DC power is supplied and I'm going to store a data, so that's why my zeros or ones in a latch. So a memory cell. A memory cell, all RAMs are characterized by latch memory cell. Latch is nothing but a flip-flop where you're going to store a data and store a bit. As long as DC supply is applied to a static memory cell, it can retain a 1 or a 0 state indefinitely. If power is removed, the stored data bit is lost. In this one, if you're going to see, you're going to store a 1 or a 0 according to your, what is that, according to how much you want, whether you want a 1 or a 0, according to that, you can store a data in the memory cell. Basic RAM latch memory cell. The cell is selected by an active level on the selected line and the data bit 1 or 0 is written into the cell by placing it on the data in line. So an active selection should be there and then you are going to store a 1 or a 0. The data it is read by taking off from the data out. So you are going to put in, you are going to store it and whenever you want you can able to take. This will be there once after the power is going to be on. Again, static memory array cell, lots of cell it will deal with. The memory cells of RAM are organized in rows and columns. All the cells in rows share the same row selection line. We are not dealing with only one particular cell. We are going to deal with a lots of cells. So, in a particular array, all the cells in a row shares the same row selection line. Each set of data in and data out line go to each cell in given column and are connected to single data line that serves as both input and as well as your output. In this diagram, if you're going to see, you'll be understanding. See, this is nothing but your cell, right? So the same row, all these particular 1, 2, 3, these four are sharing this particular same row. Again, the data and data in and data out also is specified in this data input and data output buffer and your control. This is your static memory cell array. This is nothing but a static cell array. So asynchronous SRAM is nothing but is one in which the operation is not synchronized with the clock of a system. You're going to deal with if you're going to have a system, the clock is not going to be synchronized. It will have its own clock. So this is your logic diagram of your SRAM. So this is your address line. This is your input output lines. This is your chip select. This is your write operation and this is your output enable. Write and read operation is deal with this particular uh, bit. So this is your typical view of your synchronous SRAM. So tri-state output bus, outputs and buses. Tri-state buffer in a memory allow the data lines to act as either input or output lines and connect the memory to the data bus in a computer. So this buffer means if I want to connect, I can able to like make as a 1. If not, it as a low. And if not, yeah, three means three particular operations are there. One is three outputs it is giving. It is giving a high also, it is giving a low also. And if I don't want both of this, I can able to keep as open. In this diagram, if you're going to see, this is your tri-state buffer. This particular output, I can make it as an input also. I can make it as an output also. If not, I don't want. I can leave open. That is what specified in this one. So tri-state output or yeah, indicated on logic symbol. That's what a small triangle inverted triangle is there. Nah. See, this is the specification. Like this only it is specified for a tri-state buffer. And memory array again. So SRAM chips can be organized in single bits, nibbles, 8 bits. That is nothing but my byte or a multiple byte, 16, 24, 32. This is regarding my capacity. So 32K into 8 SRAM. See, the memory cell array is arranged in 256 rows and 128 columns each with 8 bit as shown. See, in this diagram, if you're going to see, you'll be understanding. You're going to deal with 256 rows and 128 columns and 8 bits. This is nothing but your memory array. 256 rows and 128 columns and 8 bits. This is nothing but your memory array. Since we are, it is dealing with 8 bits, so 2 power 8, that much capacity my RAM will be having. The capacity of this is example. This example memory is 32,768 and totally typically it is expressed at 32 kilobyte. How much the capacity is expressed in this manner in kilobytes or megabytes. And this is what is it? The bits. No, the bits. Oh, the bit will be specifying the capacity of one particular memory array. So basic organization is this one means memory means this is a block diagram of your asynchronous RAM. Address lines will be there. Input output lines will be there. Your chip select and your chip select is since we are dealing with lots of chips, which chip exactly you are going to make it on, which is exactly you are going to deal with, that we are going to deal. So this is your tri-state buffers. Yeah, whether you are going to give as an input or you are going to deal as an output, all this will be specified in this one. So you're going to give a chip select, whether a read operation is going to be there or a write operation, whether output has to be enabled or not, all those control you are going to give in this one. According to that, the address are decoded and taken here. And from that one, you are going to take your output. Where exactly where exactly my address is decoded, from there I'm going to take an output in a read operation, and there exactly where I'm going to write in a write operation. And next is your dynamic RAM. Dynamic RAM is going to use capacitor. It uses capacitor as storage element and cannot retain data very long time, very long without the capacitor being recharged by a process called refreshing. Since I'm going to use my capacitor, I could not retain my storage for a long time. It has to be refreshed then and there. So both RAMs and RAM will lost. That's what we said. Lost stored data when DC power is going to be removed, and hence it is called as volatile memory. So this is your DRAM cell. It is having a transistor and a capacitor. This is your bit line. If I'm going to give a input voltage, my transistor is going to get open and the charge is going to flow in this capacitor, right? So in this manner, I'm going to store a bit in this one. See, when I'm going to give an 5 voltage to this particular bit line, my transistor is going to get on, the capacitor is going to get charged, and a 1 is going to present in this particular capacitor. So I'm going to store a 1 here in this capacitor, right? If suppose I'm going to I'm not going to what is it switch on the supply, means I'm not going to give any power supply. I'm going to give a low in this particular bit line and no charge is stored in my capacitor. So a 0 will be stored in this particular capacitor. So 1 will be stored when I'm going to give an high in this bit line, and 0 will be there if I'm not going to give any high over here if in this capacitor. So because no charge is present in this capacitor. So this deals with the dynamic RAM storage. 1 will be present if a high is present, and because your transistor is open, and I'm going to store a capacitor. I'm going to store a 1 in this particular capacitor. And if here if it is a 0 here, my capacitor is not going to get on, and it is 0 and it is getting discharged. So a 0 will be present in this capacitor. In this way, a data will be stored in a dynamic RAM. This is the difference between your static and your dynamic RAM, made up of flip-flops. Storage element is flip-flop. Here it is your capacitor. So large in size and this is the small in size. Data stored in the form of voltage and data stored in the form of charge, because capacitor is a storage element here. So it is stored in the form of charge. So much expensive as compared to dynamic RAM. This is expensive, less expensive when compared to static RAM. Low storage capacity, high storage capacity, consume more power. Here less power is consumed. Here this is fast and this is slow. Data sustains with time, data losses with time. So need refreshing unit. If you're not going to provide a refreshing unit, your data will be lost in your dynamic RAM. And this is the reference. And thank you.